Alright, folks, welcome back to another episode of Talking Music with Mike today. So, excuse me, still a little fucked up in this area here, but a little better every day. Anyway, so yeah, it's not going to be a Kiss episode again, so today I decided last time, we did a box set from Iron Maiden. Today we're going to do another box set, but this time it's going to be from another one of my favorite bands. And what we are talking about is 50 Heavy Metal Years by Judas Priest. So we'll get into this big conglomeration of things here in a second. So yeah, that. And I guess get in, sit down, shut up, hold on, and I'll be back here in a minute. All right, folks, welcome back. Again, sorry. Like I said just a couple of seconds ago, we're going to dive into this career retrospective box set from Judas Priest. So, we know now that Maiden is my number one favorite band. If there is a band that can get right up there close to Maiden, and maybe depending on what day of the week it is, topple Maiden for me, it's Priest. So it's a big inspiration on me there. But before we get into that box set, I got a recent acquisition here. So last weekend, last Saturday night, I went down to Bentonville, Arkansas to see a band that I am buddies with a few members of. They had an album release party. So yeah, they had a bunch of us there. We listened to the album front to back, and then they would tell little stories about this, that, and something else. And then they played a set afterwards. Good time was had by all. And while I was there, I acquired the copy of the new album. So the name of the band is Hollywood Riot, and the name of the album is Half Alive. So Hollywood Riot, they play in the casino circuit here around northwest Arkansas, northeast Oklahoma, and a lot of covers, from the 80s Hollywood scene, hence the name Hollywood, right? But they do originals too, and so the meaning behind the title Half Alive, it's half live, kind of like, Kiss Alive. And then they've got a studio side. Whenever the vinyl gets released, there'll be a studio side. So the studio side is all their originals. So the track listing for the live tracks is There's Only One Way to Rock, Sammy Hagar. You Got Another Thing Coming by Priest. Screaming in the Night by Crocus. Perfect Strangers by Deep Purple, and Rock and Roll by Led Zeppelin. These are all live tracks recorded, pretty sure, at the Cherokee Casino in West Siloam Springs, Oklahoma. Hey, yeah, all I had to do was read the damn CD. So, yeah, those songs were recorded live. I have seen Hollywood Riot probably more than any other band. So the first few times I seen them, I could have swore, like when they was playing Screaming in the Night or Perfect Strangers, that I was probably the only person in the room that knew the songs. But anyway, I'm buddies with a few of them in the band, so I go to every show I can get to. I think I can count on one hand how many shows I've missed in this area. So yeah, the album release was last weekend. Then they got a studio side, and the songs are On My Way, Lord Have Mercy, Hell and Back, Baby Gotta Leave My Socks On, which, yeah, and Love to See You Smile. So these fellas, you can find them online. They have their own website at, gosh, I should have prepared a little bit here, but just search the name Hollywood Riot on Google. It'll come up. There's also a Facebook page for them, and then Bandcamp. If Bandcamp's a thing, they are up on Bandcamp, Spotify, all the streaming services. It's well worth a listen. And this is not a paid advertisement. I'm doing this because I believe in the band and my buddies. Even though if you do look in the liner notes, you might see my name in there, but that's neither here nor there. I was just as surprised as anybody when I saw it. So, but yeah, it's just a cardboard sleeve that opens up. You got lyrics on the inside, and then a bunch of thank yous over here, and then a familiar looking design on a CD. So yeah, Hollywood Riot, check them out. I think they're worth the effort to check out. And like I said, I've seen these guys live so many times. They never fail to entertain you, and they're always on point. So, and who knows, I might be able to talk one or two of them to get in here on the show someday down the road. So we'll maybe this ain't the last time we hear about or from Hollywood Riot. Alright, get this little thing back in the protective sleeve here. Get in there. And for the next 30 minutes, we're going to watch with Mike fumble with putting the CD back in the sleeve. Hollywood Riot, ladies and gentlemen. Half Alive. All right. So now, on to the topic at hand. Judas Priest, 50 metal years. 50 heavy metal years. I'm sorry. So this is a retrospective box set that comprises their entire career from debut all the way to the newest album at the time. So, I have everything on CD already, but they included a bunch of unreleased live shows that excuse me, that were worth the entry fee there. So yeah, we start off. It's a kind of a flat black box, and then as you can see, we got a gloss treatment on the Priest logo going across, and then I forget what this is called. I think it's a trident. I could be wrong. But let me pop the lid up here and hold it up. If you look within the trident, you can see that there's a collage of album artwork in there. So, nice little homage there. Woo! That was just an old pair of headphones, don't worry. So, opening the box up, we got the obligatory tchotchkes, which I'll pull out all at once and then go through one by one, because I'm so anal that I had to put everything in protective sleeves. Yeah. So, to start off with, we have just your normal, like a cover sheet basically, just kind of a mission statement, so to speak, and it's on flat black paper, and then it's got the gloss treatment on the red text there. Makes it stand out pretty good. Couple of posters. See how well I can show these off here. Alright, so we got that one first. Yes, I am wearing shorts, don't worry. Not one of those creepy guys that sit around in my room on my underwear. Okay. And then we have another poster, which is my favorite of the bunch because I absolutely love Unleashed in the East. So anything with that album artwork is just chef's kiss to me. These are both one-sided posters, so nothing on the back side. And then we've got a foam insert with a British Steel razor blade, and they are numbered. Mine is number 368 out of 3,000. And no, the blade's not sharp. I'm squeezing pretty hard, as you can see. So there's a little bit of tchotchkes for you. Up there. Okay. Next up, we have big ass booklet. It's kind of got that same cover as the box, except if you look closely, ghosted into black, there's album artwork also. And plenty of pictures and stuff to read, and all the obligatory retrospective book materials. Just thumb through it real quick and not give the whole thing away. And then next up, we've got a little envelope with the logo embossed on the envelope. And folded up in there, well, they're not folded, we've got a replica of the British Steel Tour book. Yeah, come on, grab a hold of a page. There we go. Plenty of Priest memorabilia there. And then we have signed photos from the band. So we've got the Metal God, Rob Halford, Ian Hill, Glenn Tipton, Scott Travis, and Richie Faulkner. So I should say signed photos of the current lineup of the band. I know there's some purists that say no KK, no Priest. Well, KK left Priest, so that's on him and nobody else. I think Richie's doing a fine job, and that's all I've got to say about that. All right, so that's all the extra stuff. Now let's get into what's in the box. And I gotta dig some stuff out of the box before we go further. So first things first, some of the initial release of the box, some of these CD sleeves had some incorrect information on, and when I bought the box I didn't really notice it, but I got an email shortly afterwards that they had recognized the problem, and without me reaching out to them at all, they sent me the corrected CD sleeves. So I have CD sleeves with incorrect information and then replacements with the correct information. So I'm going to start it all off with the first album, Rock-a-Rolla. Got the original bottle cap cover. And on the back there, and the CD. Now these did not come in these kind of sleeves. I bought these and did this myself, so they were in the CD sleeve just by themselves. So just a fair warning there if you find a set and realize that the CDs are in there by themselves. That's how it came. I bought the protection, so. There we go. So, Rock-a-Rolla. Yeah, I'm going to have to find a place to put all this shit. Alright, next up is Sad Wings of Destiny. So, here is the first one that had an issue with the CD sleeve. So, it came with this one, which looks exactly like this one. But if you look at the track listing on the back, if I can get it to zoom in there, every vinyl copy I've ever seen, the track listing along the bottom started with Prelude and then went into Tyrant. That's actually side 2. So the CD sleeve, the track listing up above there reflects that, but your first song on the CD is actually Victim of Changes. So they sent out replacements that have the track listing corrected, like so. And then there's our CD. So yeah, me being me, I kept both CD sleeves because, well, that's kind of what collectors do. Alright. Next up is Sin After Sin. And I'll just hold the cover up there. And then there's the back cover. And the CD. But yeah, for the catalog, you know, I already had the catalog, so there was definitely going to need to be something to make it more worth my while to buy the set. And like I said, they included a bunch of live shows that, to me, made it worth the effort. So. Those CD sleeves, the plastic sleeves, are just too big to leave inside the little mini LP jacket, so I gotta leave them on the outside. And I've listened to pretty much the entire set. I haven't compared them to like the remaster CDs from, what was it, 2002. I haven't compared them. They don't have the bonus tracks that the 2002 remaster CDs had. So that's kind of a bummer. But like I said, I've got them all anyway, so that was neither here nor there when I decided to get this set. Alright. Then next up we have Stained Class. And then the back cover. And the CD. And for the most part, the original albums, though, that packaging's kind of boring and basic. You know, of course, from what I remember back when I collected Priest vinyl, there wasn't a whole lot of artwork other than the album covers. I don't think there was a custom inner sleeve for Stained Class, but I don't think there was another custom inner sleeve until Point of Entry, maybe. But yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of stuff in the CD or in the original LPs. So next up we have Killing Machine. Now this is UK stuff, so we're going with UK versions of the album. So in Europe it was called Killing Machine, in the US it was called Hellbent for Leather. The original vinyl release of Killing Machine in Europe didn't have the Green Manalishi on it, which Hellbent for Leather did. So yeah, we're going with the US version, or the UK versions. Makes sense because that's where the band's from. And we got the CD there. then we have one of two of the greatest live albums of all time. One of them being Strangers in the Night by UFO, and the other being Unleashed in the East. My favorite live album of all time. There's the back. And the CD. The 2002 remaster had the extra songs that were on the Japanese import and some early UK copies. You had Rock Forever, Delivering the Goods, Hellbent for Leather, and Starbreaker. So this is just the standard album version that ends with Tyrant. Right? Yeah, I think so. Alright, next up is British Steel. And again, I have a different cover for this one. So, again, they look identical. When you get to the back, you have a cover with the UK track listing that starts with Rapid Fire. Then you've got the US track listing that starts with Breaking the Law. The CD is the UK version, starts off with Rapid Fire. So they sent out a corrected version of the CD booklet that originally came with the set that started with Breaking the Law. And then there's your CD. Alright. Next up is Point of Entry. And we are going with the UK cover for that one instead of the US cover that a lot of us know. And there's the CD. And next up is Screaming for Vengeance. If you have not heard of that album, you have lived under a rock for the last 40 years. So alright, next up is probably my favorite Priest album from the 80s is Defenders of the Faith. There's the back. And the disc. It is kind of unfortunate that they didn't include the inner sleeve artwork with the albums that it applied to, but it is what it is. Like I said, I wasn't after the box set because of the albums. I already had them. Okay, we go from my favorite 80s Priest album to my least favorite Priest album at all, Turbo, with a B, not a D. I'm not a fan. disc. There are exactly 1 songs on this record that I like. And, yeah, not a fan of Turbo. I can't fault Priest. Every metal band was going through that phase around 86, 87. I mean, Ozzy started wearing robes. Saxon kind of went that way a little bit. So, what are you going to do? Alright, next up is the live album from the Turbo Tour, which is fantastic. I do enjoy the album, or the tour. Fuel for Life is what it was called. So it's just simply called Priest Live. And I've got a second CD case. And I'm trying to see what the difference is, because it's not glaringly obvious. Oh, okay, I see. It's on the spine. So, see if I can't get this to tighten up a little bit. It's kind of blurry, but you can see one of them says Priest Live, the one on top, and this one right here says Turbo. Well, that's what it is. So yeah, they got the replacement sent out for that one. And then it's a double disc. The original vinyl kind of had like a gold flake finish to the cover, and they didn't quite get it recreated here. I don't think I've seen a CD that's had it recreated. All right, Priest Live. Okay, next up is a very excellent rebound from Turbo called Ram It Down. It's definitely a step in the right direction. And there's the disc. And then we have my absolute favorite Priest album of all time, Painkiller. I absolutely love this album from front to back. And that is, to me, that is the high water mark for Priest. And that is something to say for a band that at that time was getting close to 30 or 20 years in their career. So, just a brutal album. Brutal. So, we know what happens after Painkiller. Rob steps out and they get a guy named Ripper Owens. And they release an album called Jugulator, which I'm actually quite fond of. It is a departure. It's Definitely a more brutal sounding record, but I do look fondly upon the Ripper years. And then they released a live album for that time period. 98 Live Meltdown. Opens up in a gatefold. Little pockets there for the CDs to go in. Just a huge set. You know, the Hellion, Electric Eye, Metal Gods, Grinder, Rapid Fire, new song Bloodstained, The Sentinel, Touch of Evil, Burning Hell, The Ripper, Bullet Train, Beyond the Realms of Death, Death Row, Metal Meltdown, Nightcrawler, Abductors, Victim of Changes, Diamonds and Rust, Breaking the Law, Green Manalishi, Painkiller, You Got Another Thing Coming, Hellbent, and Living After Midnight. That is a impressive set list, and I feel that Ripper did the songs justice. So, and it's a 2-disc set, and those of you that might have found the original vinyl back in the day, it was a 3 LP set. My Priest vinyl collection has long since left my residence. So, alright, next up we have the next studio album with Ripper, Demolition, which to me is not as good as Jugulator, but I still like it. And there's the disc. And then we have a live album from the tour for Demolition, which was also released on DVD. It was called Live in London, which I have 2 of these. I am not sure. I'm not sure what the difference is there. Yeah, I had a list at one time of what all the differences were, and for the life of me, I can't remember what was what, but these both open up in a gatefold. Yeah, I have no idea. I'm sure somebody might be able to drop into the comments below here and educate me and all of you on what the difference is between the incorrect and correct covers. But there's disc 1 and disc 2. Next up, we have The Return of the Metal God with Angel of Retribution. Great album, by the way. And there's the disc. And then next up we have, this one's kind of polarizing. Some people can't stand it. I love it. It's a concept album, Nostradamus. Little gatefold there. And the discs. Whether or not it had to be a double disc of a concept album might be a little debatable, but there's some really good stuff on here. So, alright, and then we kind of did a compilation of some live tracks called A Touch of Evil. And most of these came from the Electric Eye DVD, which was recorded on tour for Angel of Retribution. There's the back. And that. And some of these were the first time we've got songs like Between the Hammer and the Anvil, Dissident Aggressor, Eat Me Alive. Some of these are the first official live releases of those songs. So, all right. Next up, The Redeemer of Souls. Another pretty brutal album. And it's a 2-disc set. So what's different about this one from the other releases is there were 5 bonus tracks that got released onto a deluxe edition of the CD, and then there was a 10-inch vinyl released with those 5 tracks. This actually has those 5 bonus tracks. The other CDs don't have any bonus tracks to them. Alright. Then you can kind of see a pattern developing here. A live album from Redeemer of Souls called Battle Cry, which has a awesome set, by the way. One of the most ferocious versions of Painkiller I've ever heard Rob sing in my life. There's the disc. And Painkiller is at the end of the set on this, and how Rob still had that much gas in the tank, I have no idea, but he really went for it. Alright, and then their most current album at the time, Firepower, which I really liked. It's a good classic sounding Priest album to me. It's the first album since Angel of Retribution that really grabbed me. I mean, Nostradamus had some good songs on it, and Redeemer had some good songs on it, but Firepower that's one I could still listen to from start to finish. Okay, now we get into the live shows, and this is what sold me on the set here. So we have several live shows here that I'll go through. First up, we have Live in Atlanta, 1982, from Screaming for Vengeance. And the track listing, most of these are just going to have some kind of standard artwork. But yeah, we've got Hellion Electric Eye, Riding on the Wind, Heading Out to the Highway, Metal Gods, Bloodstone, Breaking the Law, Sinner, Desert Plains, The Ripper, Diamonds and Rust, Devil's Child, Screaming for Vengeance, You Got Another Thing Coming, Victim of Changes, Living After Midnight, The Green Manalishi, and Hellbent for Leather. That's a standard set list from the Screaming for Vengeance tour. I've got a few shows from that tour. You know, there's the old Memphis DVD from that tour. That's pretty much the same set list. And then I've got like the US Festival that they played. So, alright. Next up, we have Live at the Mud Club, 1979. This would have been around the Hellbent for Leather tour. And we got Hellbent for Leather, Delivering the Goods, Running Wild, Beyond the Realms of Death, Green Manalishi, Victim of Changes, Rock Forever, and Starbreaker. And I absolutely love Starbreaker live. There's the disc. Alright. Next up, we have Live in Houston, 1986. This would have been on tour for the Turbo album. And I have 2 sleeves here. Alright, so it's on the track listing. On this one here, this has disc 2 starting off with Rock You All Around the World. This one has disc 2 starting off with Electric Eye and moved Rock You All Around the World to the end of disc 1. So yeah, we've got Out in the Cold, Locked In, Heading Out to the Highway, Metal Gods, Breaking the Law, Love Bites, Some Heads Are Gonna Roll, The Sentinel, Private Property, Desert Plains, Rock You All Around the World, Electric Eye, Turbo Lover, yeah, Free Wheel Burning, Victim of Changes, The Green Manalishi, Living After Midnight, You've Got Another Thing Coming, and Hellbent for Leather. I've got a few shows from this tour also. You know, there's Priest Live. There's also a VHS called Priest Live, which is a slightly different show. And then the 30th anniversary of Turbo I have on CD back there. There's a show from Kansas City, I believe. So yeah, I've got a few shows from this tour, and it's pretty close to the same set list. And then next up we have probably my favorite Priest show, which is Live in New Haven 88 from the Ram It Down tour. And I've got 2 of these. So again, with the track listing, this one here has disc 2 starting off with Some Heads Are Gonna Roll. And this one has disc 2 starting off with Turbo Lover. So yeah, easily my favorite version of Sinner ever. And then your discs. Next up is Live in Los Angeles, 1990, from the Painkiller Tour. I believe this is Irvin Meadows, or the Foundation's form. So we got Riding on the Wind, Grinder, Heading Out to the Highway, Between the Hammer and the Anvil, Bloodstone, Better by You, Better Than Me, Leather Rebel, Green Manalishi, Hellbent for Leather, and You've Got Another Thing Coming. And there's that. And I'm not super crazy about this show. There's something going on with the guitars there. They're not quite full power, so it sounds a little wonky at times. Alright, next up we have Live in Denver, 1980, so this would have been the British Steel Tour. So we got Hellbent for Leather, The Ripper, Running Wild, Living After Midnight, Sinner, Beyond the Realms of Death, You Don't Have to Be Old to Be Wise, Grinder, Victim of Changes, Stealer, Genocide, Tyrant, and the Green Manalishi. So, oddly enough, Breaking the Law hasn't made it into the set list yet. There's a DVD. Oops. Okay. Now, next up is Live in London, 1981. Would have been from the Point of Entry tour. There's the back. So we got Solar Angels intro into Heading Out to the Highway, Metal Gods, Hellbent for Leather, Breaking the Law, Sinner, Beyond the Realms of Death, Grinder, Desert Plains, You Don't Have to Be Old to Be Wise, Victim of Changes, Green Manalishi, Living After Midnight, and Tyrant. There's the disc. Next up is Live in Irvine Meadows, 1991, from the Painkiller Tour. Much better sound to the guitars and everything. They're definitely more full power. So we got Hellbent, Heading Out to the Highway, The Hellion Electric Eye, Diamonds and Rust, All Guns Blazing, Metal Gods, Some Heads Are Gonna Roll, The Ripper, Nightcrawler, Turbo Lover, Touch of Evil, Painkiller, The Green Manalishi, Breaking the Law, Living After Midnight, and You Got Another Thing Coming. For those of you that found the old Metalworks VHS back in the day, some of the footage shown in there was from this show here. Alright, and then the last CD of the set is called Beyond Live and Rare, and this is just a compilation of live tracks from around the way. So I have 2 of these. And I have no idea which is which. I mean, the only thing I could see is a text difference over here on Tyrant. You can see here there's one line of text underneath Tyrant, and under here there's two lines of text under it, but other than that, I have no idea. Anyway, track listing. We have Commemorate, which was a early version of Epitaph. Solar Angels, Sinner, Desert Plains, You Don't Have to Be Old to Be Wise, Genocide, Victim of Changes, The Ripper, Screaming for Vengeance, Green Manalishi, Victim of Changes again, Tyrant again, no, for the first time, Diamonds and Rust, White Heat, Red Hot, Better by You, Better Than Me, Starbreaker, Rock Forever, Evil Fantasies, Troubleshooter, Grinder, The Sentinel, Free Will Burning, All Guns Blazing, Painkiller, and Mother Son. So these are recorded all over time and space here, you know. We've got some from the Palladium in New York in 1981, the Agora Theater in Cleveland in 1978, couple from random places in 1982, the Ector County Coliseum in Odessa, Texas in 1981, one from the Netherlands in 81, one from Japan in 78, couple from Japan in 78, couple more from Japan in 79, Germany in 81, New Mexico in 84, Montreal in 91, England in 91, and then England in 1975, that Mother Son, which was never released. So it's a big set there. So yeah, all those live discs, that's what sold me on this box set, and I have no regrets at all about getting it. So, and that does it for the 50 heavy metal years by Judas Priest. And I would definitely say, if you're into Priest and you want the live shows, it'd be worth getting a hold of the box if you can. If you're just getting into Priest and you don't really have any of their CDs and you kind of want the CDs and the live show, that box is right up your alley. So I'm happy to have it, and I definitely recommend it, and I'm not sorry at all that I got it. So anyway, with that, I thank you for hanging in there with me, and I will catch you on the next one.